Hi my friends, Loco here. We got some big news dropping. Jensen from Team Liquid is going to be re-signing for the org for 3 years, and yeah, the price is what we need to talk about. So Travis Gafford reported that Jensen will be re-signing with Team Liquid for 3 more years for $4.2 million.
I will just tell you that sources have informed me that Jensen has reached an agreement with Team Liquid to extend his contract for 3 more years with the organization. And of course, this number, which I'm sure some of you guys are really curious about, because again, he's a very valuable player in a post-Bjergsen world especially, is 4.2 million over 3 years is what the contract is valued at.
So this is the highest amount that a player has ever gotten paid for a contract, even year by year and in its entirety in the Western League of Legends. I'm sure someone is going to tell me that someone in LPL is getting paid more. Yeah, so that's why we're talking about Western League of Legends. So let's break this all down. I think the really big questions are, is Jensen worth that amount of money? And is this going to be like the norm for premier free agents going forward, getting paid over $1 million a year in North America? And to start off, how good is Jensen and is he worth that contract? To talk about this and the significance of this, we need to talk about where Jensen first started. He used to be known as Incarnation. He was a solo queue player back in Europe and he got banned for DDoSing and for a lot of other things. Yeah, it's crazy to think about that he's a player that used to be banned and now he's the single highest paid player in Western League of Legends. Actually, the players that got permabanned are looking pretty good. There's Dopa, there's Tyler1, both of these guys made millions, so yeah, maybe getting permabanned isn't the worst thing for your career in League of Legends. But anyways, to talk about is Jensen worth this much? Well, we have to look at who else is available. I think Bjergsen retiring was a really big thing for him. This makes Jensen by far the best mid laner around. And then the other mid laners that you could talk about along with Jensen are players like PowerBeeble, players like Zizuke, maybe other players if they come over. The interesting thing about PowerBeeble is I know generally how much he was getting paid last year. He was somewhere between 700 to 800k a year. And for Bjergsen, the salary is a little bit more difficult to talk about because he had ownership in TSM. His salary isn't a 1-for-1 compared to other players that don't have ownership. So yeah, Jensen jumped so much in terms of salary compared to the next mid laner up. Is he really worth that much? I honestly don't think that is the exact value that Jensen should be valued at, 1.4 million. And to be completely honest, I don't think he's worth that much. I think there's a lot of caveats and there's a lot of conditions playing into this. So the big thing is it's Team Liquid that's paying this much, and Team Liquid is known for overpaying players. So basically how Team Liquid runs their offseason is no dollar spared. They list out the players that they want per role and they just go down the list and see if they can get them. It doesn't matter if they already have a player in contract. If they feel like that player hasn't performed, they're just going to go out and replace them with a better player. That's just how they do things. And yeah, you can see that no dollars were spared to make sure Jensen stays. Team Liquid could have let Jensen hit off season. And then there would have been suitors that might want Jensen. They didn't even want to risk that. They wanted to make sure they get Jensen as their starting mid laner. And yeah, they took no risk. There's definitely a world where Jensen would have signed for less if he's able to hit the off-season table, but Team Liquid didn't even want to consider that fact. They don't want Jensen talking to any other teams. So yeah, they paid a premium to make sure that they can have Jensen for the long term. And to talk about level of play for Jensen, I think he's always been one of the best, if not the best, mid laner in North America. I know, I'm gonna get a lot of hate because people are gonna tell me you always talk about how good Bjergsen is. There is definitely a little bit of bias for Bjergsen for me. And I think it's a really fun comparison doing Jensen versus Bjergsen. But one thing that Jensen has that puts him a little bit above Bjergsen, at least in international competition, is how consistent he is. I think Jensen without a doubt has been the best international mid laner from North America. Whenever he's in positions to do what he needs to do, he steps up and does it. You saw it in 2019 MSI and you see it numerous times with whenever he performed that Worlds with C9 and now with Team Liquid. I think one thing I do want to talk about though that's kind of been a weakness for Jensen is he's never had good synergy with junglers. If you look at his past 2 junglers, Broxa, Xmithie, I don't think Team Liquid ever had that great a mid jungle 2v2. If you look further back and think about his entire history in North America, he's played with a lot of good junglers. And yeah, I think the only 2 that I can think about that I can even remotely say he's had good synergy with is Svenskeren and Blabber. So this is one part where Jensen has been weak, but I still do think with Bjergsen retiring, he is by far the best mid laner around in North America, and there is a little bit of premium on that too actually. Being the best mid laner in a region has a lot of effect on your gameplay in the Rift. I think one thing that Jensen has always delivered is consistent team fighting. You can see it with Cloud9, you can see it with Team Liquid. I'm not saying he's bad in lane, he is an incredibly good laner, but one thing that always stands out is how good Jensen is in team fight. Jensen is the kind of carry where if you give him the gold and you get him to a team fight, he will carry your team. And yeah, North America has been about that so many years. Who is the best team fighting team? We're kind of a garbage region when it comes to split pushing and playing the entirety of the map. So mid laners that play well in team fights, players like Jensen, players like Bjergsen, have always been incredibly dominant. And I actually do think Pyre Beeble is somewhere within that too. He's definitely not a split pushing mid laner. So yeah, there is also a premium on being the best mid laner in terms of being the number one mid lane, because it means you're gonna have the best mid lane in terms of team fight. Let's also talk about the absurdity of this number, 4.2 million over 3 years. Oh my god, that is just so much money to think about. I see a lot of comments on Twitter, I see a lot of comments on Reddit talking about how unsustainable it is, and oddly enough, I tend to agree with these Redditors. I think that kind of number for a single player is just so crazy high. And it's ridiculous to me that TL is willing to pay that kind of amount. But I do know Steve is one smart cookie. You guys probably don't know this, but before League of Legends, before esports, Steve worked in finance for 10 plus years. I think it's safe to say Steve knows more about running a business and making it sustainable than me or any other Redditor out there. I do think Team Liquid is probably working in the negative, but yeah, it's hilarious to me that Redditors with pretty much zero know-how on how esports operates and also zero know-how on Steve's background are commenting and saying this isn't sustainable and that they are overpaying. Team Liquid has figured out a business model that works for them. Maybe they are operating in the negatives, and I probably do think they're operating in the negatives, but they are able to convince these VCs and investors that it is worth it, that esports is going to pay out in the long term, and that being the best team right now has merit because they are spending millions, multiple millions to do it. Now let's talk about another confirmed piece for Team Liquid. Alphari. Ooh, this one's a little spicy. For those of you guys not familiar, Alphari is an elite top laner from Europe along with Bwipo and Wonder, and currently he's playing for the 10th place team Origin. Yikes. It was reported by Jacob Wolf that Alphari will be playing for Team Liquid for another $1 million plus per year salary. And the discussion is Alphari selling out to playing in North America. It becomes a little bit more heated when you check back on Alphari's Twitter and what he's been saying during Worlds, where he tweeted, "Why is watching NA lose so fun?" For what it's worth, I have zero problems with Alphari joining Team Liquid and being part of the North American ecosystem. Historically, in the European franchise scene, since LCS has started, Europe has only had 3 different champions: Fnatic, G2, and the one-time champion Alliance. So yeah, it's safe to say Fnatic and G2 run that region. I know there was some turbulence last year with Mad Lions and Rogue, but in the end, it was G2 and Fnatic again. I'm definitely not as familiar as I am with the EU offseason. Maybe there is a third contender building up to challenge G2 and Fnatic. Maybe G2 and Fnatic are going to lose crucial members, but yeah, a lot of those are maybes. Now compare that to the offer that Alphari has been given, a multi-year $1 million plus per year contract. And you are going to be playing for the best team in North America. Team Liquid, once they have that roster together, it's going to be Alphari, Centauran, Jensen, Tactical, Core JJ. That roster is going to crush. I will say Centauran is a maybe, but yeah, that roster is going to dominate North America. And yeah, you look at Europe, maybe G2 loses a few members, maybe Fnatic loses a few members, but what is the guarantee compared to what he's being offered in North America? It's honestly a no-brainer. Dude, $1 million is life-changing money. $2 million, $3 million, oh my god, that is generational life-changing money. You should not say no to that kind of money. And it's not like he's being forced to go sell his body somewhere. He's coming here to North America to play League of Legends. I swear to god, it's not that bad. I get all the hate for Alphari. I get the, oh, you're giving up on EU, you're selling out. But realistically, this was by far the best decision to make for Alphari. To cap the video off, I want to talk about who Team Liquid is going to get for jungle. The 4 members they have are Alphari, Jensen, CoreJJ, and Tactical. Because CoreJJ and Alphari are imports, it means they're going to have to get a domestic jungler. So the answer becomes very, very obvious. Centauran from FlyQuest. Centauran is going to be a free agent this offseason, and he is the best domestic jungler available. And also, with the 4 members that Team Liquid has, I think it's going to be really, really hard for Centauran to say no. The only thing I'm really curious about is what kind of money is Centauran going to get signed for? Is he going to get the 1 million plus that the other Team Liquid members are being given? I think maybe there's a world where Centauran is going to be on a cheaper deal because Team Liquid spent all this money. And yeah, they have all the leverage. They have the best roster available. I don't think FlyQuest could put together something better than Team Liquid can. So it's about how much of a discount is Centauran willing to give them. I think at the end of the day, Team Liquid doesn't have any great second options. As for Centauran, TL is by far his best option too. So yeah, let's see what kind of deal they end at. Lucas has put together a monster performance in the last few years, and as someone that's coached him before, he's got a really great head on his shoulders too. He's always working extremely hard, and as a teammate, there's times where he's a little whiny, but yeah, he is a hardworking, easygoing, easy to get along with teammates. So I hope he secures his bag with the rest of the Team Liquid players. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if it's a little late. I'll do my best to do videos more timely. And also for the mask, I just wanted to wear it. We'll talk about why I was wearing it later. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And if you guys keep showing support, maybe I'll do a talk show in the future. I definitely won't do a permanent talk show, but I'm interested in the idea of guest appearing on Summoning Insight again. So yeah, oh, I almost forgot. I'm not crazy, I'm just Loco. Bye.
Yeah, let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words and I put them all together, insert, cause I wanna have worth. Working hella hard till they put me in the dirt. Gonna go far, man, listen to my words.